Young Guru?
Yes, sir.
South by Southwest, Fader Fort.
Man, I love it, man. Fader brought me down here, South by Southwest. It's my first time. It's an incredible experience. You know, I got to really spin just my heart, anything that I wanted to spin.
Anything you wanted?
Anything I wanted. It was great. That's sort of the feeling down here. It's like to introduce you to new music bands you never heard before. So the crowd is real receptive on new music and things that they've never been experienced to.
Nice.
That's kind of the whole point of here. You know what I mean? As far as I see it, and it's a beautiful thing. It's rock groups, it's rap groups, it's stuff in between. Like, this is what it is for music, really, to me.
Well, this is your first time at South by?
My absolute first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been quite an experience, right?
Very much so. I mean, the crowd was so receptive while I was DJing, and I was just playing like, that was the first time I ever played just whatever I felt like playing. What I played was kind of like what I do in my bedroom. You know what I mean? Right.
So anything you wanted, right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this then. When was the first time you perfected a transformer scratch?
Probably had to be like right after I saw Jazzy Jeff do it. Like, I'm a Jazzy Jeff fanatic. You gotta understand, I was born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware, which is right 20 minutes below Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So growing up, that's who I studied and that's who I looked at and that's who was doing the house parties I was going to. And, you know what I'm saying? I just felt like he was the best. Jeff was always so innovative with his scratches, but then he was always so on time. I think precision is the best thing to describe Jeff. And I just followed him and listened to him, and I wanted to do exactly what he did. Matter of fact, one of my partners that I came up DJing with had green eyes. So he used to be Cash Money, and I was Jazzy Jeff, and that's how we did it. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. If there was one word to describe Young Guru, what would it be? One word.
Oh, man, complicated.
Why? Why?
Just because there's so many facets and layers. You know, people see me, some people know me strictly for engineering. Some people know me strictly for DJing.
Right.
Some people know me strictly for educational purposes, like me teaching kids. You know, there's so many layers of things that I do that people don't get to see the whole thing. So I wouldn't say complicated in a bad way. I'm saying complicated in a good way.
There's multiple layers, like you said, multiple layers to...
Depending on what arena I'm in. I may also be the only person in a physics exhibit that has on like hip-hop clothes. But I know who Michio Kaku is, and I love him and I study him. You know what I mean? It's a whole lot of things that I do other than just music.
Yeah.
Like,
so then, being a newbie to engineering, I have no idea about engineering. What makes a good engineer? Because an engineer and that mastering process are very important in order to get that right sound.
What makes a great engineer technically, the technical aspect, is that he completely understands the equipment and he can listen very well. What makes a great engineer socially is that he can run a session. Those are two totally different things. Someone may know the equipment well and may get into a situation where they can't run the session because the band is out of control, or they don't know how to make suggestions, or the person has been trying to sing this line for like a half hour and they don't know to go, yo, take a break, go play PlayStation, eat something, come back. Or I can tell somebody that nailed it on the first take, stop trying to do it, you already got it.
Got you.
It comes with a comfort level of knowing what you're doing, and once you have hit records, then people are more apt to listen to you. So that's the hard part, is when you're first starting out, to try to get people to really understand that you have an ear.
Yeah.
But once I got a lot of hit records under my belt, it became a thing where people asked for that. They asked for my opinion, because really, an engineer is supposed to sit down and be quiet and just do whatever the producer tells them to do. But there has to be someone that runs the session.
Yes.
So that's really what I do. I've gotten to the point where now producers allow me to just run my sessions, and I get a lot more work done. In the height of the Rocafella days, I might have made 7 records in one day.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because it was just like, Memphis Bleak is real early. He'll come in real early and do like 2 songs. Then Cam and then might, Dipset might come in at like 12. Jay might come in at like 2 o'clock, and then Beans may come in at like 2 in the morning. You know what I mean? But it was how I ran the studio.
Right, and that's very important. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. There was no booking of like, okay, I have the studio from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. No, there was none of that. It was just come free for all, but it was very organized chaos.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I had great assistants too. God bless the dead, my assistant Kamel. I had some great assistants, but we organized at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it was just like, make the music, catch the vibe, be in the vibe, and then figure out the thinking part of it.
Right. You mentioned Rocafella. What was your most memorable studio moment during those Rocafella years?
Oh man, there's so many of them. I can't say one.
Give me a couple then.
A couple is like how fast Jay does songs.
Yeah.
I've said this before, but when he did what song was it? Heart of the City.
Right.
there was a video that came on. He had a song with R. Kelly, and the video came on. And Jay made a comment about the start of the video. So then he walked out, walked into the booth, spit the whole 3 verses, walked back in, and that R. Kelly video was still on.
No.
Yeah, that's how fast like Jay does songs.
Holy shit.
Very fast, yeah. Because he stopped. He doesn't go into the booth until he's absolutely ready.
Right.
Which is what most artists don't do. They'll write a rhyme, and then as soon as they get done writing, they want to go in and say the rhyme.
Yeah.
So from a technical aspect, it's bad because they're holding up a piece of paper and they're turning his mouth from the microphone.
Yeah, and so it's not going into the mic. Right.
But from another aspect, from a production aspect, you should at least memorize the rhyme so that when we're working on, now you know the words, but we can work on flows and we can work on
how to play with them.
How to play with the rhyme. So what Jay does is he walks around for 20 minutes or a half an hour reciting because he doesn't write it down. So he recites it to himself over and over until he knows the whole verse. Then he goes in the booth, which is a way more effective way he actually learns the song.
Yeah, and so he can play with it more. Exactly. He's more comfortable. Wow. So when was the first time you met Jay?
Wow. I mean, I met him like in clubs, you know, times before I actually worked with him. My first working relationship with him was when I started working with Bleak, which was 99.
Yeah,
I think it was. So he, you know, it was a case where I got a gig to work for Bleak. Me and Bleak, because of the fact that I don't just sit there and I go, okay, well, I think you can do better with the rhyme here, or let's take these words out and let's try to say it this way. Bleak gravitated towards me, I gravitated towards him. So then now that I'm working on the whole Bleak project, inevitably Jay being the president, I mean, you know, CEO of the company, is going to come by and check on him. Jay liked the way I work, so then one day he just asked me, he was like, well, what are you doing for the rest of the month? And I'm like, nothing. He was like, all right, clear your calendar, come work for me, and I never left. That's basically how it was.
That's at the height of Jay, like after Hard Knock Live Volume 2?
Yeah, it was. I got with him right after that album.
Yeah, because that was 98, right? Yeah, 98, because wow, and you haven't looked back
since. I've been with him for about like 12 years now.
What are you working on now that you can tell us about?
Watch for the Throne is almost done.
Almost done? Are we getting that? Because Kanye said that was coming out like in January.
I know. Like, this is what it is with Ye. Ye's records grow. Like, if you listen to a Kanye record when it first starts, it's in one form.
Yeah.
And he adds stuff, takes away stuff, plays it for a bunch of people, listens to it. He's a real perfectionist.
Right.
So that's what he does. He grows his records. So that's where in the process of just finalizing the rest of the album. But it's really in Kanye's hands. So once we get done with that, Jay's going to start another album.
Yeah.
Which I can't tell you the concept of it, but it's a very...
Is it a concept album?
Incredible concept.
Is it better than American Gangster?
Much better. But I don't want to say better. It's different.
It's different, right?
Lane.
Yeah.
It's a different thing for him to do.
Oh wow.
Which when people see it, they're gonna be like, oh wow, he should have did that like with the first album. Like, you know what I mean? It's that incredible. But I'm working on my own stuff. I got a kid from Atlanta named Stanza that I'm really pushing. This guy is incredible. He has an interesting way of looking at the world.
Sure.
He's very much not the average rapper.
Yeah.
You know, he walks around and talks about pride and going to work and, you know, having a job. And I have on penny loafers and, you know, I'm smiling at the guys that are outside hustling on the corner. And he just has a very unique perspective on life. Okay. I think this guy's going to be very big. He's going to be huge. And back, you know, DJing hard. Like I've been hitting the DJ circuit, retarded right now. And production. I'm doing a lot of production out there.
We need you out here. We need you out here.
I appreciate it, man.
We appreciate you.